Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes on this Friday, the 27th of October. And as we're heading into the weekend and next week, it's a good chance this is a good opportunity to take a look at what's going to be happening over the next 5 days because we are going to see the pattern change a bit. And there are no watches and warnings up in the east. We do have frosts and freezes for parts of Kansas and Nebraska, as well as northern Missouri and into Iowa, portions of eastern Iowa to southern Wisconsin. Winter storm warnings up for much of central Colorado for what could be a 4 to 8 inch snowfall. It's a small area of geography we're talking about here. It's also cold up in the northwest, where we have freeze warnings up for parts of coastal Oregon and for coastal Washington. We saw some of this moisture that has been feeding up from Mexico northeastward into the Ohio Valley, and then a stick of clouds that extended east through West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and into Long Island. That cloud line has been shifting southward as we've moved through the day. To the east of that, you see the swirl that's out in the Atlantic Ocean, and that is now once again Tropical Storm Tammy as it churns around close to Bermuda, but it should move away to the east, and that is finally going to allow this ridge that's been in the eastern part of the United States to flatten out and break down. It's already doing that thanks to this energy that's up in the northwest and through the northern Rockies and northern plains. They had their first major snowfall up in parts of the North Dakota and back into Montana and northwestern Wyoming. That low is now moving northeastward into Canada, north of Lake Superior, but it is going to finally start to push a cold front through. We have one more day of potential record high temperatures, and that will be for tomorrow. There's been radar activity today, and even in a few places saw some drops of light rain, a couple of sprinkles in there. That has also shifted southward now. I don't know how much, if any, of that is actually reaching the ground in southern New Jersey and down into Delaware and Maryland. This radar loop is as of 4:30 p.m. this afternoon, and you've got a couple of stray lines of light showers in the northern lakes. From the middle Mississippi Valley to the southern plains and parts of East Texas, also in eastern Ohio, eastern Kentucky, central Tennessee, again, not amounting to much, nor is the precip that we see up in Montana and North Dakota, just some leftover light snows that are going on there. Now, going forward, we have the 7-day rainfall forecast, which covers us from now through next Friday night, and we're looking at 3/4 of an inch of liquid precip being indicated. We're going to have some showery rains to deal with on Sunday, and then again on Monday, and then possibly Tuesday night and Wednesday, and that's going to hinge on whether a second wave develops as that cold air is coming in. Also, some heavier rainfalls in Arkansas, southern Missouri, into parts of southeast Oklahoma, and also into southern Illinois on the order of up to a few inches over the next 7 days. And the main line of a half inch to an inch runs from central Texas northeastward into Ohio, and then continues on up into the northeast, and some reasonable precip for the Pacific Northwest on the order of an inch and a half to some heavier amounts as you work your way inland. And the overall pattern here, I just want to show you what's going on in the upper air. This is what it looks like tomorrow morning, or is forecast to look like tomorrow morning. We've got our upper high over the Florida Panhandle weakening. You've got this deep trough that's out in the west that extends from Lake Winnipeg southwestward into Nevada and California. That trough is going to shift eastward. The ridge continues to flatten, so that allows a cold front. Actually, we'll see a weak frontal passage here late Saturday. You won't really notice it very much. It might bend the wind around a bit to the northwest and north over time. And then as that front lays there and you start to see all this energy dropping down out of Canada, we'll have a wave go by. So we're looking for some showers to come in on Sunday, lasting through at least part of Monday, and then the front shifts southward. The question is, as we look up here, there's a short wave that is swinging around. If you want to believe the GFS, it would say that cold air comes in on Tuesday, just generally overwhelms the eastern part of the United States as this upper trough shifts eastward. And other than it turning cold, a lot colder than what we have now, we're probably going to see widespread frosts and freezes over parts of the country. The European and the Canadian and the icon models offer a different idea in that this shortwave coming down out of Canada is much stronger. So those models suggest that a second wave is going to develop for Tuesday night into Wednesday as that cold air comes in, which is going to set us up for rain and maybe the first flakes and the first ice pellets for some areas inland. We'll see. I mean, we've got the whole weekend to see how this plays out. Right now, it's 3 models against 1 on this idea of a second wave. Either way, it's going to turn significantly colder next week, and I think we're going to wind up seeing widespread frosts and freezes throughout the much of the United States east of the Rockies. I'm not sure whether the frosts and freezes make it all the way down to the coast, but certainly inland areas are going to see some frosts and freezes out of this starting Tuesday night, and I think also and especially for Wednesday night of next week. In the meantime, no issues tonight. Tomorrow we've got a west to northwest wind and high pressure to the south. And as long as we have enough sunshine, we should see temperatures up into the upper 70s and low 80s and records broken once again. Front comes through, stalls. Here comes the wave moisture on it for Sunday. With some showery rains coming in during Sunday morning and lasting into the first part of Sunday night. Might actually be a little snow up in far northern New York, northern Vermont, and New Hampshire and into Maine. And then the question is, do we have a second wave? And the GFS does kind of develop a wave out there well east of North Carolina and keeps it offshore. This would be for later Tuesday night into Wednesday. If we just, I'll give you a quick switch and a quick look to the European here. You see that first wave goes out much the same way the GFS has it. And then as the front goes to our south, it stalls again. And then we've got another wave that develops, and this brings rain up the coast Tuesday night and maybe changes to some sleet or wet snow well inland, folks. And then the low pulls away, and we have the cold air for the remainder of the week, at least through Thursday night, maybe even into Friday morning, and it's going to be on the cold side next week in the eastern part of the United States. So have a great weekend. The Joe and Joe Weather Show is going to be back Sunday night at 7:35 p.m. And just in case you missed it, we did a winter special the other night with Dave Tolerus and Bill Goodman. And that's in my YouTube library. You can find it under the Joe and Joe Weather Show, and it's also under the special show playlist. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you Sunday.